Hey, greetings out there. It's David Duford here again from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. Today is going to be an interesting video because I'm going to give you some perspective on a particular style or kind of business that all final expense agents will eventually come across. And that's what's called direct express payment option. A lot of carriers don't take direct express. And today I'm going to give you basically a overview on what direct express is, why I think it's what one agent pinned as one notch above homelessness, and just generally how you should handle this business when you come across it. So direct express is basically can be categorized as a checkless checking card. There's a lot of variants of this particular kind of card. You have the Rush card. You've got the Green Dot card. Walmart's got a card that people can put their money on and pay with stuff for. And the idea behind it is it's just most people use a debit card or a credit card and don't write checks anymore and pay just with this debit card. So instead of dealing with bounced checks and bank draft issues, they just do away with the checking account side of it and have a card in which acts as an account, but has some restrictions to make it a little more manageable. Direct Express got into the business of having Social Security recipients put their money onto this particular card and working out a deal to where those getting on disability or retirement would have this option to elect for this kind of checking account versus going to local bank and getting a traditional banking or checking or savings account. The advantages of it in a sense are these people normally would had to have received a check and then cash the money every third of the month and then stuff it under a mattress somewhere, because many of these people have always been unbanked, and the government actually forced these people to open an account because they refused to stop sending checks. Now, there's a few checks sent out here and there, but grandma's not getting her check anymore via the mail that's coming in deposited into this account. Now, this opens up all sorts of issues, because the other half of that is people get these cards because banks won't take them. A lot of the people we deal with Direct Express cards cannot get a bank account because they're negative, they didn't manage their money well, they bounced a few checks, they let a few bank drafts go and run up their account, and they never bothered to pay it off. The bank goes and reports them to a credit agency, in effect, and so you can't open a bank account anywhere else because of that. So the interesting thing about it is that you have a prospect that has this card, and many times it's because A, they were forced to get it and never liked the idea of bank accounts to begin with, or B, they are forced to get it because the freaking banks won't take them anymore. And so what you end up with typically is a D-level prospect that sucks at managing money. There's just no other way to go around it. And truly, at the end of the day, this is why many people refer to these particular style of clients as one notch above homelessness, because they just can't keep their lives together well enough to manage simple banking and checking and debiting against their account. So what do you do when you're the final expense agent and you walk across this business? Do you pass it up? Do you not attempt to try to write the business? I know agents that see that and run for the hills. They don't even bother with it. But I think there is a definite opportunity in selling this business. It's just knowing how these people think and which carriers to use in order to make it a viable sales opportunity. So the first thing you got to understand about people who have these cards is their mindset has always been when they've got a check, they go cash it and get their money. Okay, so there's always a race between you getting the money out of the account on a bank draft or a debit card draft and them running to the ATM to pull all that money off. The first person there wins. It's a race. You want to be there first. And so you want to use carriers, first of all, that allow you to draft on the same date of the deposit. Now, most final expense carriers allow you to draft first or the 28th. Most are now allowing second, third, and fourth Wednesday. But what you want to use are carriers that do what's called a Social Security benefit draft deposit authorization form. It's a little different than your regular bank draft. What it allows you to do, instead of a particular date, like the third of the month, it allows you to draft upon the deposit dates preset by the government. You see, the government, if the 3rd falls on a Saturday or Sunday, always pays its recipients a day or two earlier on Friday. And if we're set up the traditional way to bank draft them without the authorization additional form, we're going to draft on Monday. So you've got Friday here, right? And now you got Monday, and you got these 2 days in between. There's a high chance they're going to spend all their money and not leave anything behind. Or best case scenario, just forget it was there temporarily. And then now you got to figure out how you're going to redraft them, or even worse, rewrite them, and then spend more time chasing this business down. So the point I'm trying to direct here is that when I come across this business, you want to put carriers, these clients with carriers that draft when they get their check, whether that's on a Friday and because the 3rd falls on a Sunday, or 2nd, 3rd, or 4th Wednesday. The goal is to beat them to the ATM and use a carrier that drafts earlier on the day. In my opinion, the best carrier that does that is Transamerica. They were the ones that originally implemented this particular type of payment method, and they have seen measurable improvements in their persistency by practicing it. It's been in effect about 1.5 years. I've been completely thrilled with the results of it. I saw an immediate improvement in my persistency in an otherwise crappy quality of business, and it's allowed me with confidence to write this business. Now, there are a few carriers that claim to have Social Security benefit drafts or allow to take the Direct Express form, but they just aren't going to do the same job, and in my opinion, are just going to be really terrible at doing it. If you ever run across this particular type of business, you have to write it with a Direct Express Social Security benefit form with Transamerica. That is my surefire recommendation. The other option is a little company called Trinity Life or Family Benefit. They took the lead from Transamerica and basically crafted the same form. My understanding is they do a very good job as well. Those would be the 2 I would recommend. Now, here's the deal. With both of these companies, you're going to get paid as earned. But I would suggest that this is really the best option anyway, because there are a few carriers that still advance on issue or on draft for these guys, particularly Liberty Bankers Life. Great Western pays a 6-month advance. You're really asking for trouble if you write a lot of this business. You're going to end up in chargeback hell. That means a lot of this business will lapse because they're not going to be at the bank account because they don't have the Social Security form, and they're going to be stuck having to rewrite these people, or worse yet, having to pay back chargebacks. I've been through it before. I know what it's like, and it sucks. And the business quality from this particular line of business is always historically the worst. My opinion is work with a carrier that makes sense of it, that knows how to write the business. And Transamerica is pretty damn good at it. So if you run across this business and you don't have Transamerica Family Benefit, I can help you with that. They're very good carriers at doing this. I highly recommend them. You're going to see a measurably improvement in your persistency. And that's all I have to say about that. My name is David Duford from Final Expense Agent Mentor at feagentmentor.com. If you're interested in more of my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me the old thumbs up if you like what I have to say here. And as always, thanks so much for listening.